Good morning, and welcome to yet another edition of Roadhouse Last Call. My name is Hells Bells. I am being joined by the Binda and the Stockington. Binda, how are you on this fine day?
Good morning, Hells. Good morning. I'm here, present, all things,
You're present. You're present.
not
So
all things.
we were worried about you yesterday on how you were pulling through, whether or not there were any complications. Um,
You're such a dumbass.
We've established this a long time ago, buddy. It's, this is not breaking news that I may or may not be a dumbass. However, are you feeling
I was
okay?
having trees that were being mulched.
Is
That's
that
what I
what
was
we're
doing
calling it?
yesterday. I was managing some people that were mulching a bunch of the cedar that I have piled up, stacked on the ground. They're coming back out today, so I'm here this morning, and then I gotta go back out there and kind of because there's like I don't even probably 30 piles of trees, so I have to
Oh yeah.
keep them going towards the piles that are the highest priority. Otherwise, they're just gonna do every pile they see.
Man, I wish we were neighbors. I would definitely take you up on those cedar chips. No
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah. There's a lot of them.
I know cedar chips are that's good stuff. Last time that we left off, I felt like we were very close to a breakthrough as far as your feelings and your emotional baseline.
Don't assume that I
Um,
have those.
huh?
You're making an assumption that I have those.
I know, but this is all a part of it. It's all a part of it, and I think it's important that we explore this a little bit. Um,
Can we just talk about the market?
but we're so Bender. We are on like the threshold of being able to
We're
open
not.
you up, and
We're not. We're not. We're not even.
you don't want me to
We're,
open you
we're
up?
not even playing that game.
Okay, I'm gonna try again some other time to open you up.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
I'm gonna
You
make
will
the.
you
I,
will be
I
met
feel
with
like
the
I
same
owe it to you.
response.
After all these years, I owe it to you to be there for you in this capacity. Okay. I will not stop trying.
Okay.
Um,
Good to know.
I will not. So just say thank you for me being a great friend to you. And we can.
Fuck off. Tell us about the market.
All right, market. So we had the pull yesterday down. We filled the gap. We jerked off around down there. They were loading puts left, right, sideways. Yesterday was a fairly bearish day on the indexes. There were some bright spots here and there, and the bright spots were basically seeing puts being covered and inverse ETFs being looking as if we were getting some call writing in and through there. This week is very choppy and interesting. We had PMI come out overseas, pretty much our European partners. Their PMI came out. We're waiting for that data 15 minutes after open comes out today. Um, the data wasn't that bad, just depending on what lens you want to view it through. What we did see is that they had a pullback in their currency, which gave us a little bit of a pop, which is putting us in kind of more of a neutral open, even though we're dipping down in through here. What we did see, Bender, was some activity. The VIX moved in party pretty hard yesterday, but it tuckered out. It completely got exhausted, and there was not a real. If you were watching level two on UBXY or anything along those lines, you were not getting any type of real, I must get in, I must load in. So the VIX continues to be one of those pieces that it's kind of there, really not giving us a real indication. I think the real indication has come through the dollar. Vibrational posted a chart earlier this morning that potentially could have the dollar sitting at a head and shoulders on the 1 hour. We'll see how that develops as we get closer to open. Overall, though, I think that filling of the gap was necessary going into Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole being Friday is going to be, we have Powell, I believe, 10 a.m. Eastern on Friday. That's going to be the speech of all speeches, as he basically is going to deliver policy without delivering policy. It's going to be more kind of geared towards the economy. geared towards, the direction of monetary policy from a global standpoint. And so all of those pieces are going to be very important. The one thing that I think that everybody must keep in mind over the last couple of weeks, every single central banker, every single Fed speaker has come out relatively hawkish coming into this week. We have to keep that in mind. So there's this balance right now being played, Bender, between, okay, can the Fed continue to go and how far is it willing to push before we genuinely are dumped into a recession? That's the question.
What's the
How
answer?
far? What's the answer? See, I don't know. So I think personally, I think the Fed is going to go too far like they always do. They always stay too long. They stay too long with QE. They stay too long as far as rates. No matter what, it's like the Fed are the motherfuckers at the party that just won't leave. Like everybody's gone. You're like cleaning dishes and shit, and they're just still sitting over there, just like no, we're still here. That's
You're
that's the
exhausted,
Fed.
laying on the couch, and they're just sitting there going, "Hey,
And just
hey,
sitting there.
hey."
It's just like a bunch of booger eaters that have no social grace. Yeah, 100%. 100%. That is the Federal Reserve. So we do have that risk off coming into it a little bit. We say risk off, but I think it's just refilling that gap that was created off of that bogus CPI print and the rally that came in after it. So that's where we are now. We do know that Apple flow is bearish. We know that Amazon flow is bearish. We know that NVIDIA reports tomorrow. We know that we saw some hedging moving around on the SMH yesterday. They closed out the 235s, opened up the 220 puts. It's like we saw that. We saw overnight how they moved their hedge down for the second consecutive day from I think 97 to 94 on a SPY machine. So there's downside protection being purchased. The question now that I have for you, which is probably and again, very grateful that you're here this morning. Where are we, buddy? Where are we on these charts, and what do we need to look for? Especially those like myself who kind of tried to buy the dip a little bit yesterday. Where do I need to be looking to pull the parachute if we come up to a line?
All right, I'm going to start with a. Let me post this chart here. I'm going to start with a chart. This is a 233 minute. I'm going to show you this trend line that we have below, so that we're all on the same page when I start talking about this trend line. There you go. You see that blue trend line that has been resistance that was kind of formed at the top of that gap down.
Mm-hmm.
Was that June 10th? So you can see that trend line there. So I think, for me, we've got this fib here at 41.34 just below. We're sitting at 41.39 right now. You can see that just below that 41.34, that red line, 41.20. And then below that trend line comes into play. So I think, on any further weakness, those would be the levels to look for. So 41.34 and then 41.20. And that trend line, depending on when we get there, comes in between 41.10 and that 41.20 area. So we don't want to see that. If you're short, you do, right? You want to see it give up 4100, but the bulls want to hold it. I think below 4100, we start looking at 4071 was a previous area of support. I think that would be kind of, where you would target. Probably around 4080 would be the next stop under 4100. There's a fib there. And if that gives up, then it's that 4071. Above where we're at right now, 4145 would get you above the 10 and the 20 MAs on the 60 minute. Above that, you got 4154. There's a fib there. That was also previous support, could act as resistance. And then the 50 MA on the 60 minute is all the way up to 4185. And then you start targeting that 4200 pull number.
So do you have any type of a lane, or what are you looking for in through here?
So, okay, all those levels that I just gave Uh, the what's really got me interested right now, and kind of what I'm going to be paying attention to, RSI's on the daily is, you know, pretty much been reset, right?
Hmm.
So there's it's cooled off. If we do find some footing, uh, I know we've got, because we're still waiting on uh, some shit to come out. You know, we could, maybe they do nothing with it. Maybe it's just ratings bound today. I don't know, but
Hmm.
the fact that RSI has cooled off, we are below the midpoint of the Bollinger Bands on the daily. So the midpoint of that is 4177. Um,
Okay.
so the fact that we're sitting below it now, the Bollinger Bands are starting to tighten, right?
Hmm.
Um, the lower Bollinger Band is all the way down at 3980, and the upper 4374, and again the midpoint 4177. So, you know, if we're going to try to get anything constructive going, I think we need to get back above that.
Yeah, it's funny because I was sitting here looking at this chart that you put up, and I can definitely see it's like, no, there is like legitimate support right in through this area above 4100.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it. Even if you take all the lines off of it, you can see, okay, there was some work put in through here. Um, it's very, very visual. And when I'm looking at it, it's like you mentioned the 4177, but the 4175 is probably, if we can get a rally up into that in any capacity, that's probably where I would look to pull the parachute and reposition.
Yeah.
Uh, It's like that looks fairly legitimate. And it was odd because there was a random line that came in yesterday after hours. I think it was 417 calls, or it was like 4170s on SPXW for Wednesday. Those came in very late in the day, not massive, but just something that makes you just go, huh, okay, that's interesting. When you start seeing when certain numbers start correlating together, you know, you're not the only one who has an eye on it. And not being you, but just in general, when
Right.
you're
Right.
in looking at it, it's like there's something about these levels in through here. There was something about the need to fill the gap. There was something about the gap being where it was, which is very interesting. I love this chart. It definitely helps with the visualization. But yeah, okay. So, gun to head, if you had to say, do we close the day higher or lower from where it looks like we're going to open?
I really don't have a lean at the moment.
Yeah, neither do I. Neither do I. It's like I know for me, I need flow to shift. I need them to get off of these Apple 160 puts. I need them to get the fuck up off of those in order for us to make a meaningful rally. But both Apple and Amazon still have those pretty ridiculous gaps on the daily. So we have that. All right. Got anything else, or do you want to move on to a stonking 10?
No, no. Let's hear what he's got to say.
All right, there's stonking
Hello.
10.
I am here, but I do not think I have the access to the internet right now.
Well, you're talking to
Uh,
us, so
I, I'm on my cell phone, which
oh,
does still work, but Comcast, fuck you, Comcast. So I don't know. I'm resetting some stuff. We'll see if in the next 20 minutes or whatever I can get it going. But I did realize I had one night where my friends were the Fed at that party that didn't leave. Uh, I, I was the loud, obnoxious guy at one point, if you could believe it, where it was like a Tuesday, we would party at my place on Tuesday nights, and the people that ran the apartment complex got sick of me. And so they told us to keep it quiet. We went out, and people followed me home to keep it going, and I just went to bed. And so because we already had crossed the line last night, they called the cops, and the cops show up, and they're like, who the fuck lives here? Like, why are you guys still being loud? They told you to be quiet. And everyone was like, oh, he's asleep. He's sleeping. So that was my friends being the Fed getting us all in trouble. But that's all I got for now because I can't get these charts going. We'll see if in the next 20 minutes I can.
Would you care to comment on more in the life of times of the Stockington?
Well, I mean the the post that I put on Twitter last night, and he's like, "Oh, this sounds just like the Chumbawamba song." Like, that's exactly where he would go with it. It makes perfect sense. It just,
It does make perfect sense.
never ceases to reinforce this. Do you even have a driver's license?
I do, but I wouldn't really need it. I bike to work, so
I'm going on mute.
But wait, before you go on mute, you opened it. You're opening it the conversation back up to your feelings again with the post on Twitter last night. Would you like to delve into these thoughts a little bit?
Okay, if you're going to tell me you're going to keep coming back after this, you might want to just put a little time gap, more than let's do it twice in the same morning, because I'm already on to it.
You should have been. This has been a reoccurring thing, but it just feels like you've just been like the breakthrough is there to you fully opening up
the
wide.
Fuck on.
All right, everybody, that's the morning show. So the plan is we have data 15 minutes after open. We get, I believe, crude inventories tomorrow. We still have Fed and we have NVIDIA, the big dog on the block over there with semis reporting tomorrow. So there are still some things in front of us. Let us manage our accounts accordingly. Bender, really great having you on this morning. You be here today, or are you managing people's?
Yeah, managing people. I might be in and out. I got to run over there this morning for a bit and get them pointed in the right direction, and then I may be back for a couple hours in the middle of the day.
Cool, that'd be awesome. All right, man, enjoy yourself. Have fun.
Okay.
Everybody,